Hi, my name is TJ Temple, and welcome to my podcast. All right, and we're back again for another week here on I've Got Something to Say, and I'll be honest with you guys, as I always am on this podcast, I didn't know what to talk about this week, and it didn't seem like you guys were a fan of what I talked about last week, and I apologize for that. I was kind of in a rush to get that episode done. I wanted to get it out, but this week I'm not in a rush. Got plenty of time. We're recording the day before the episode comes out, as I always do. But I was in a rush last week, and I apologize for not, being as more prepared as I probably should have been. But that's okay. We're back now, and like I said, I'm not perfect, nor will I ever be perfect, and that's the point. I do, again, appreciate all the support that I've gotten on this podcast thus far. It truly does mean a lot to me in terms of how much support I've gotten. If you're wondering about my bracket, March Madness, it's pretty much done. I got 2 Final Four teams left, but my national champion's gone. So, yeah. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to hear me talk about stuff, and I got a good topic for you today. And today's topic is all about self-worth and learning to love yourself. That's really what this is. And boosting your self-esteem when there's a whole bunch of noise going on around you. And this is, like I said, I didn't know what else to talk about this week, but I decided to talk about this. Okay? So, self-worth. I've struggled with it. I still struggle with it. I still feel like I don't feel worthy of love. I still feel like I don't measure up. But at the end of the day, I got to ignore those voices. I got to ignore that negative noise, because that's exactly what it is. It's noise from the outside. It's things that, okay, yeah, it's more of trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to keep up with everybody than what you're doing for you. And that's not something we should be doing. Life is not a competition. You go at your own pace. Life is not a sprint. It is a marathon. And you don't go as fast as everybody else. Okay, I'm 27 and I'm not a parent yet. Okay? So, that doesn't matter. I don't have to be a certain age to be a parent when I'm ready, or if I'm ready, or even if I want kids. I may not even want them. I'm at the point where I don't really want them right now. Could that change in the future? Yeah, it could. But right now, I don't. I feel good where I am, and I don't feel like I need to change that. And no one should put anyone else down for not being at the stage of life that they should be at. Even yourself. Like if you're in your 20s, like I am, or your early 30s, and you're not where you wanted to be in your life, that's okay. Like I said, life is not a marathon, or a sprint, It is a marathon. You take things at your own pace. You don't go at the pace of everybody else. Like, for example, two of my friends have kids. One is married. I do not have kids, nor am I married. That's okay. I don't need to be. Taking things at your own pace is what's important in life. Doing things on your time, not anybody else's. Let everybody else judge. Like I said, it's that noise. You got to block it out. You got to be strong. And being vulnerable is true strength, as I've mentioned before on this podcast. Being strong, being vulnerable is strength. And showing that you are messed up, that you do have problems. I shouldn't have said messed up. That was a wrong choice of words. But being vulnerable and showing that you're not perfect, that's a good thing. We don't always have to show that. And social media is just That's something, I'll tell you what, social media makes us even more depressed than we already are, because we see all these people, going through life, and going through different things. Okay, you're not where you're supposed to be at 25. So, why does that matter? Like, do you get what I'm saying here, guys? You get what I'm saying? Just because you're not at where you thought you would be, or where people wanted you to be at this point in your life, doesn't mean that your life is a failure or that you're horrible. It just means you're progressing at a different pace than everybody else. And that is okay. And self-esteem is something else I wanted to talk about on this podcast this week, is because I struggle with self-esteem. We all do in some way, shape, or form. We all struggle with our self-esteem. We need to learn to love ourselves a little more. I'm still learning how to do that. Do I like myself more than I did a decade ago? Yes, absolutely, because of the growth I have shown in myself. I still have problems. I still have a bit of an anger problem. I'm working on that. I still have a bit of a patience problem. I'm working on that too. Like I said at the beginning of this on the very first episode of this podcast, I'm not going to be perfect. What I say is going to come out jumbled. It's going to come out messed up sometimes. But as long as you get what I'm saying, that's all that matters. And that's really the point here. Listen, yes, my self-esteem is low. I've been raised, yes, I will say this, I was raised to not like who I was. And I was raised in this stereotype of, you're supposed to be this, not that. Like, in the small town that I grew up in, you had this stereotype of being a country boy. Listen, I am the farthest thing from a country boy that you will get. Okay? And you know what? I'm fine with that. I don't want to be that. I want to be who I want to be and who I really should be. I shouldn't be told what I should wear and not wear. I should not be told what I can and cannot say. Because it all boils down to how... It doesn't matter how people perceive you. It's how you perceive you. It's how you feel about you. If you don't like yourself, work on it. Change it. Make yourself better. Physically, mentally, emotionally, both on the inside and on the outside. The way you dress. If you don't like the way you dress, work on that. Change that. Make it better. That's what I'm saying to you guys. Okay, I hope this is coming through. Because I really do want it to come through. Just because you're not who people want you to be, that's okay. You're be yourself, and most importantly, love who you are. Because that's important. If you don't love who you are, then what are you doing here? You gotta love who you are. And I'm still working on that. Like I said, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on being the best person that I possibly can be for myself and for those around me. I am going to be a better person than I was a decade ago. I've made mistakes. I regret things. We're going to talk about that in a bonus episode either this week or next week, because there are things I want to talk about there. And I also want to bring up this anecdote. In high school, in my senior year, which, by the way, marks 10 years. Next year will mark 10 years since I graduated high school, which is hard to believe, but that's not why I'm here. That's not the point here. The point here is I was voted most unforgettable in terms of the superlatives, you get it in the yearbook. I was voted most unforgettable. Now, when I saw that at first, I thought to myself, okay, that's wonderful and all, that's cute, but everybody's going to forget about me in a year or two. I'm going to be forgotten. And part of that is true. Yes, because ironically, the girl who was voted most unforgettable next to me. Not a lot of people remember her. I remember her quite well. In fact, I have regrets with her, involving her, which I may or may not address in the next episode. In the bonus episode I want to do. But, like I said, I was like, people are going to forget about me in a year. Why vote me most unforgettable? Well, some have. Most have. Some haven't, and I appreciate those that haven't forgotten about me. And I try to make sure people don't, because I am very easy to forget. I'm very, very easy to forget, folks. But, yeah, it's just, like I said, circling this back around, it's all about loving yourself and being who you really want to be. Don't listen to anybody else saying who you should or should not be. That's not important. What's important is what you think you should be and what you want to be. Love yourself. And, of course, be kind to others and all that stuff. That's of course, always important. But just love who you are. Love, I'll be honest with you, I'm not skinny. I'll be straight up with you. I'm fat. I don't like it. But I'm working on that. I'm working on it. I'm working on changing that. My beard is not as good as I want it to be. That's okay. Looks aren't everything. But what matters is also what's on the inside. So that's also very, very important, is what's on the inside. So love yourself, love who you are, and don't listen to what that negative noise from those outside voices. Don't listen to them. Be who you want to be and love who you are. So I hope you got some value out of that. I really do. And as always, I appreciate it. I always want your feedback. tjtpodcast@gmail.com. Your email, that's the email. You can email me. You can leave a voice message. You can reach out on social media, TJT Podcast, Facebook and Twitter. I always look forward to your comments and your feedback. I want some feedback so we can maybe do a Q&A episode or a responding to comments episode sort of deal, because I want to do that. So please reach out with anything you have to say, constructive. Try to keep it positive, but constructive if you have to say something negative. So like I said, I hope you got something out of this episode, because this was an important episode for me to record. And the next few weeks are going to be topics that I really concern myself with and really care about. Because like I said, the underlying theme of this podcast will always be mental health, and it's important. And this was also a pretty big deal. So thanks for listening. As always, I appreciate your feedback. I want to hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, I'll catch you next week. Take care.